You believe her attraction will be loud, a clear signal, a spoken invitation. You're waiting for the green light, for her to say the words that give you permission to advance. But this is the first and most critical mistake men make. You are listening with your ears when you should be feeling with your entire presence. A woman's true, undeniable sexual interest is almost never a shout. It is a whisper. It's a change in the air between you, a subtle shift in her posture, a glance held a fraction of a second too long. Her body broadcasts a truth that her words are conditioned to conceal. She pulls you in not with what she says, but with what she allows you to see, to feel. If only you would stop waiting for a script and start reading the silent, honest language of her energy. If this silent tension feels familiar, if you've ever felt like you were missing something right in front of your eyes, then you're in the right place. This is a sign that you're ready to see the truth. Support this journey by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and sharing your own moments of confusion or clarity in the comments below. What you're about to learn isn't just a list of signs. It's a new way of seeing the world, a new way of understanding the powerful, unspoken dance between a man and a woman. Your presence here is the first step toward moving from a state of guessing to a state of profound knowing, and your engagement helps others find this path as well. Let's decode this silent language together. You have felt this before, haven't you? That internal storm of analysis, replaying every word she said, trying to find a hidden meaning, a clue that grants you certainty. While you are lost in that mental labyrinth, her body is offering you the map. You see her tuck her hair behind her ear, and you dismiss it as a nervous habit. The psychological truth is that this is often a preening gesture, an unconscious signal meant to draw your eyes to the curve of her neck, a vulnerable and intimate part of her. The emotional conclusion for you is a missed opportunity. You are so busy calculating the risk of rejection based on her polite conversation that you completely fail to see her body's unguarded confession. Her physical self is already saying yes, but your mind is too loud to hear it. This is the central conflict you must understand. Your need for absolute certainty clashes directly with her need for plausible deniability. She will rarely hand you a written invitation because that would make her far too vulnerable. Instead, she sends out subtle probes, quiet invitations that she can easily retract if you don't respond. A slight lean in your direction during a conversation, a soft laugh where her eyes lock onto yours, the way her feet are pointed toward you even when her torso is not. These are not accidents. They are questions her body is asking your body. She is testing the waters to see if you are perceptive enough, confident enough to notice. To her, a man who can read these subtle signals without needing verbal confirmation is a man who is present, aware, and therefore powerfully attractive. And so you adopt the great lie, the one that protects your ego but starves your soul. You believe that if she were truly interested, she would make it obvious. You tell yourself her attraction would be a clear, unmistakable signal, a verbal invitation that removes all doubt and all risk. This belief feels safe, logical even. It transforms your inaction into a wise strategy of waiting for the perfect moment. You watch her from across the room, you listen to her polite, measured words, and you interpret her subtlety as disinterest. Her quietness hits you not as a mystery to be explored, but as a judgment to be accepted. You have already decided she is not into you, because your fear requires a shout, and all she is offering is a whisper that you refuse to hear. This lie is so seductive because it absolves you of all responsibility. If she doesn't text back immediately, you conclude she's gone cold. If her smile seems guarded, you decide you've been friend-zoned. You have constructed an entire narrative where her interest must be aggressive, loud, and initiated by her, or it doesn't exist. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You see her glance at you and then quickly look away. The lie tells you it was a random, meaningless gesture. The truth is, that is a test. She is gauging your reaction, checking to see if you are watching, if you are present enough to catch that fleeting signal. By dismissing it, you fail the test before you even know you are being graded. You are waiting for a guarantee. in a game that rewards courage, not certainty. The consequence of this belief is that you begin to perform. Instead of being a man, you become an actor playing a part. You use rehearsed lines, you deploy conversational tactics, you try to logically argue her into feeling attraction for you. You are so focused on your script, on saying the right thing, that you are no longer present in the interaction. You are in your head, calculating, strategizing, trying to force a reaction that can only be given freely. Her response is to recoil. She feels the tension in your effort, the neediness behind your words. She doesn't feel a man standing before her. She feels a supplicant asking for approval. The very energy you use to try and create attraction is the force that pushes her away, solidifying the lie you told yourself from the start. This entire framework is built on a fundamental error in perception. You think the problem is external, that she is not giving you enough. The real problem is internal. Your mind is too loud. Your inner monologue of fear, doubt, and planning is a constant static that drowns out the subtle frequency of her non-verbal communication. She could be leaning into your space. Her pupils could be dilated. Her body could be screaming her interest. But you would miss it all. Why? Because you are not there with her. You are trapped in a mental prison, rehearsing your next move, terrified of making a mistake. The tragedy isn't that she is hiding her interest from you. It's that you are hiding your own presence from her. And this leads to the most destructive behavior of all, the chase. When her subtlety is misinterpreted as rejection, your panic sets in. You believe you are losing her, so you increase the pressure. More texts, longer messages, grandiose gestures designed to solicit a clear response. You think you are demonstrating interest, but what she feels is desperation. You are no longer a man she is curious about, but a problem she needs to manage. Your pursuit, born from the lie that you need her explicit validation, strips you of all your masculine power. You are chasing her validation instead of standing in your own. The dynamic is inverted. You become the prize to be won, and she becomes the judge. And in that frame, you will always lose. Ultimately, the lie that you need a clear signal is a shield for your deepest fear, the fear of taking a sovereign risk. You are waiting for her to give you permission to be a man. You want her to remove all possibility of failure before you are willing to act. See her across the coffee shop, your eyes meet, and you feel that pull. But instead of acting on it, you wait for another sign, a bigger one, an undeniable one. You are outsourcing your courage to her. This is the core of the illusion. True masculine energy doesn't wait for the path to be cleared. It steps forward into the unknown, guided by perception and grounded in self-trust. By waiting for her green light, you are ensuring you will spend your life stuck at a red one of your own making. The truth is, her quietness is not a sign of disinterest. It is a profound act of self-preservation. You must understand that from a biological and emotional standpoint, a woman's vulnerability is her most sacred territory. She will not grant access to it lightly. Her subtle signals, the glances you almost miss, the guarded smiles, these are not walls designed to keep you out forever. They are filters. They are intricate, instinctual tests designed to see if you are a safe harbor or just another storm passing through. She is observing your presence, your calmness, your ability to perceive without demanding. She needs to know that you are a man who can read the energy in the room before she will ever let you into the energy of her heart. To her, your perception is your power, and your patience is your strength. This is why she operates within the realm of plausible deniability. It is her emotional safety net. Think about the last time she touched your arm during a conversation. Was it just a friendly gesture? Or did it linger for a fraction of a second too long, sending a current through you? That moment is her offering. It is an invitation wrapped in a question. By keeping it subtle, she gives you a choice. You can meet her energy, acknowledging the touch with a steady gaze or a slight lean in, or you can ignore it. If you ignore it, she can retract her energy without feeling the sting of overt rejection. She can tell herself it was nothing. But if you see it, truly see it, and meet it with your own grounded confidence, you have just passed a critical test. You have shown her you speak her silent language. You have been looking at this all wrong. You see her behavior as a series of confusing mixed signals, a chaotic storm of contradiction that leaves you feeling lost. The tension you feel is your own mind fighting reality. The great inversion of understanding comes when you realize this is not chaos. It is a perfectly calibrated system. Her body is the compass, and her words are the camouflage. Her conscious mind is busy navigating social rules and her own fears, but her instincts are broadcasting the truth on a clear channel. When her words say, "I'm busy this week," but her body leans into your space and her eyes, you are being shown the unfiltered truth. The real signal is the one that feels raw, the one that bypasses logic and speaks directly to your gut. These are not conscious, manipulative games she is playing. These are instinctual filters running on ancient software. She might playfully challenge something you say or offer a brief dissenting opinion. Watch yourself in that moment. Do you become defensive? Do you feel the need to prove yourself right? Or do you hold your ground with a calm, amused smirk, unbothered by the turbulence? Her challenge is not about the topic you are discussing. It is about your emotional center. She is metaphorically pushing on your frame to see if it will hold. A man who is easily rattled by a small disagreement is a man who cannot provide a sense of safety in a world of genuine chaos. Your unwavering presence is the only answer she is looking for. Now, let's talk about the most honest language in the universe: space. Words can be twisted, smiles can be faked, but the physics of proximity are pure truth. This is the sign most men ignore because it feels too simple, too elemental. When a woman is genuinely drawn to you, her body will unconsciously seek to close the gap between you. In a group setting, watch her orbit. She may be talking to others, but you will notice she has positioned herself closer to you. She will find reasons to enter your personal space, to grab a drink, to point something out. This is not a conscious decision. It is a gravitational pull. Her body has surrendered to your presence long before her mind has drafted the words to admit it. This is her silent confession. And this is where you must learn to trust your own intuition over your logical brain. Your mind will offer you 1,000 rationalizations to avoid taking a risk. She's just being friendly. That's just her personality. You've used these excuses, haven't you? You use them because they keep you safe in the comfortable prison of inaction. But you can feel the difference. You know it. Friendly energy is light, open, and undirected. Sexual tension is a focused beam. It has a weight, a texture. It changes the very air between you, making it thick with unspoken possibility. To dismiss that feeling, to label it as nothing, is to ignore the most powerful guidance system you possess. It is self-betrayal. The entire dynamic inverts when you grasp this truth. You believe you need to impress her, to perform for her, to win her approval. But she is not looking for a performance. She is looking for reality. Her subtle tests are not designed to see if you are good enough for her. They are designed to see if you believe you are good enough for yourself. Your need for her explicit validation is the very thing that communicates you lack an internal sense of worth. He feels this as a void, a vacuum that threatens to pull her in. A man who is grounded in his own value doesn't need a woman's permission to be confident. That unwavering presence is the most magnetic force on earth. Ultimately, she is not hiding from you. She is waiting for you. She is waiting for the man who is still enough to see past the social mask, calm enough to withstand her emotional tests, and present enough to feel the truth radiating from her body. She doesn't want a boy who chases, but a man who sees. She doesn't want to be persuaded by your words. She wants to be met by your presence. Her entire communication system, this beautiful, complex dance of subtlety and silence, is a lock. It is designed to filter out the noise, to weed out the insecure and the unaware. And the only key that will ever fit that lock is the quiet, unshakable confidence of a man who has mastered himself. So what is the ideal reaction? When you feel her pull away, when the conversation hits a lull, when her energy shifts from warm to neutral, the average man panics. He perceives this distance as a threat, a sign that he is losing her, and his instinct is to close the gap with force. He starts talking faster, asking more questions, trying to fill the silence that terrifies him. The centered man does the opposite. He breathes. He holds the space. He understands that her withdrawal is not a rejection, but a test of his emotional core. She is unconsciously checking to see if he will be rattled by the first sign of turbulence. His calm response, his ability to simply exist in that quiet moment without needing to fix it, is the most powerful signal he can send. It tells her, without a single word, that he is a rock, not another wave. This is where you must learn to see her tests not as obstacles, but as opportunities. When she playfully challenges your opinion or makes a sarcastic comment, the insecure man immediately becomes defensive. He feels the need to justify himself, to win the argument, to prove his value through logic. He mistakes the content of the conversation for the context. The mature man understands the truth. The conversation is irrelevant. Her challenge is a metaphorical push against his frame. She needs to feel his stability. The ideal reaction is a slow smile, a steady gaze, an energy of amusement that communicates he is completely unbothered. He doesn't need to win the point because he has already won himself. This unwavering presence is more attractive to her than any clever rebuttal could ever be. You must become a master of the pause. The silence between words is where attraction is truly built. The common man fears this space. He sees it as an awkward void and scrambles to fill it, proving only his own anxiety. The man who understands this dance does the opposite. He leans into the silence. He holds her gaze a fraction of a second longer after she finishes speaking. He lets the tension hang in the air, thick and alive with unspoken possibility. This is not an aggressive act. It is an act of profound confidence. In that quiet moment, you are communicating that you are not afraid of what is real, of what is unspoken between you. You are showing her that you are comfortable in the depths, not just paddling in the shallows of polite conversation. This silent confidence is what she craves. The deepest wisdom here is that you cannot force a connection. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by becoming still enough to be seen. Think of it this way. When you try to grasp water tightly in your hand, it slips through your fingers. But when you cup your hand gently, it rests there. Your effort to control the outcome, your desperate need to get her, is the very tension that pushes her away. The ideal masculine reaction is to let go of the outcome entirely. Your goal is not to win her, but to simply be so present, so grounded in your own reality, that she feels an undeniable pull into your orbit. It is a shift from doing to being. When you stop trying to manage her feelings, you finally create the space for her true feelings to emerge. Your internal state creates the external reality. You have been trained to analyze her, to decode her every move. But the true master of this dynamic analyzes himself. He doesn't ask, is she into me? He asks, am I present right now? He understands that his own anxiety creates her guardedness. His own neediness creates her distance. Therefore, the most strategic thing he can do is to cultivate his own inner calm. When he feels that familiar knot of fear in his stomach, he doesn't project it outward by texting her again. He focuses on his own breath. He brings himself back to the present moment. He becomes the source of the calm he wants to see in her. This is the ultimate power, to shape the emotional field of the interaction by mastering your own. And from this place of grounded presence, your actions become different. They are no longer born of fear, but of perception. When you see her lean in, when you feel her energy soften, when her eyes hold yours in that silent space you've created, the move you make is not a gamble. It is a natural conclusion. You don't reach for her hand as a question, hoping she will accept. You touch her hand as a statement, a quiet confirmation of the energy that is already there. You have moved beyond the need for her permission because her body has been screaming its invitation for the last 10 minutes. Your action is not an attempt to start something, but the final, decisive step in a dance you have both been engaged in all along. This is the difference between asking and leading. And so you arrive at the final, quiet truth, the one that changes everything. This entire journey was never about her. It was never about learning a secret language to decode her mystery or a set of tactics to win her affection. All of that was a distraction. The entire time you were looking outward, analyzing her every move, her every glance, her every silence. The real answer was waiting within you. The storm you perceived in her was merely a reflection of your own internal chaos. Her perceived distance was a mirror to your own lack of presence. The great revelation is not that you have learned to read her, but that you have finally learned to read yourself. Power was never in understanding her behavior, but in mastering your own state of being. You were looking for a key to her lock, only to discover you were the key all along. We began with a paradox. She pulls away not because she feels nothing, but because she feels too much. Now you see this statement through a new lens. It is no longer a riddle about her psychology, but a clear diagnostic of your own. She pulls away because she feels the turbulence of your need, the sharp edges of your anxiety, the hollow space where your grounded presence should be. She feels your desperate attempt to control the interaction, and her instincts scream for safety, for distance. Her withdrawal is a natural response to an unsteady force. The moment you stop being that force, the moment you become the calm eye of the storm instead of the chaotic wind, her need to pull away simply dissolves. She doesn't need to brace against a man who is already unshakably still. This is the point where the game ends, because you finally realize you are the only one who was playing. The chase, the performance, the constant mental calculations, these are the frantic moves of a man who believes he is lacking, a man who needs something external to feel whole. The ultimate masculine power is to simply put the game board away. It is to stand in your own reality, so complete and so grounded that you no longer need her to react in any particular way. She doesn't want your perfectly crafted explanation. She wants your unwavering stability. She doesn't want your performance. She wants your presence. When she feels that your emotional state is not dependent on her approval, she is finally free to give you her genuine desire. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by becoming a gravitational force, a presence so solid and so real that she naturally wants to enter its orbit. This is the final turn. The focus shifts from getting her to becoming him, the man who doesn't need to chase because his very being is the destination. You sought to understand the signs of her attraction, but the true path was to become the source of your own. The silence you once feared is now your greatest ally. The stillness you once avoided is now your greatest strength. You have moved from the noise of the mind to the wisdom of the body. You are no longer waiting for her green light. You have become the light. Now, look back at the past. Comment what you now see in her that you couldn't before.